Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Star Wars The Clone Wars Republic Heroes. Let's continue. We're running around, we already did this challenge, I'm pretty sure. We're running around just blasting more droids, hacking consoles, trying to open up escape pods so that they can... more people can escape, I imagine. So we're doing more of these puzzles, which are not incredibly difficult, but they certainly do add something weird to this game, a little too complicated for a kid's game. Considering how simple the rest of the game is. And the ship just exploded and killed us all, apparently. Well, guess not. So it's the 5 clone troopers and the pilot.
Blast it! It's fried. We'll have to use the manual override.
Now, here's the thing I don't understand about clone troopers, as not a huge fan of the Star Wars series. I thought all the clone troopers are actually clones of Jango Fett, like, or they were clones of Obi-Wan. Like, either way, I'm pretty sure they were clones of somebody. So, how is it that they have different voices, different skin tone, different heights, different appearances, if they're clone troopers? Explain that one to me. Why do they have different ranks? Why do they have different personalities?
There is no escape, Skywalker.
Wow, they animated that badly.
It's over.
Like, destroying that panel could have been animated very well, much better.
One more step, and I blow every single escape pod into space dust.
You're bluffing.
Try me, Jedi. Steady, Obi-Wan. I do not sense any deception. You're more than happy to risk your own lives, but not the lives of others. Pathetic.
I shall ask you again. Who are you? What do you want?
My name is called Tesca.
Why don't they try the Jedi mind trick on them?
But I'll settle for seeing the looks on your faces as your precious clones die.
Or, here's a good question for the Star Wars universe. Why don't they try to use the mind trick all the time? Like, honestly, you would think that the Jedi should, in meeting anyone, immediately try the mind trick on them. Okay, so we've got our attempt here, and this is the first boss or anybody that we fought with a life bar. We know what to do until the ideas change. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if this is the end of the game. Like, I was saying last recording that my general understanding of the Star Wars cartoon is that every season there was a new bad guy. Somebody that I guess has to work for Count Dooku or somebody else, or be a Separatist or something. Because you can't really fight Count Dooku because you need him in like you need him to still be around for episode 3. Now, it's kind of hard to have a boss fight like this, considering you can just die and it doesn't matter. Like, but I can't hit him either. unless there's something else I could do. I mean, it seems like all I'm really can do or should do is just dodge. I can block bullets. And you don't have enough time to jump on these guys. And I'm not doing a significant amount of damage to these guys.
This is novel.
Indeed, the game gets interesting.
So we do that twice, and maybe we will now do something a little different. Yep, now we're sending the missiles back at him. And boy, you're just slightly chipping away at his armor, considering you're fighting with a lightsaber that Star Wars fans would argue is infinitely sharp and could cut through the core of an entire planet if you turned it upside down. Like, when you get into video games, it stops making sense. Unless you just argue that his entire armor's of some metal that is anti-lightsaber, which the movies at least never really introduced any material that would make any sense or work that way. They should have, certainly. Or in just general, an ability to weaken the Force in Jedi so that they can't even turn on their lightsabers or only can use them in a very limited capacity. Of course, when you look at Rogue One, which is one of the latest movies, I guess the latest Star Wars movie I have actually looked at, whatever the Force is supposed to be and who can be a Jedi and who can use the Force gets changed and redefined kind of a second time. It had already been redefined and changed once with the midi-chlorians idea. So it seems like we're gonna break the glass behind him. So maybe we'll knock this guy down to the planet and then Ahsoka and Anakin will fight him. Like, you really don't get anything about Anakin even having the seeds of becoming Darth Vader in this story, and I think you need to see some of that. Like, sure, in episode 3 you see the exact reasons, but you need to start to see some hints of some anger management issues in him. You need to see maybe some other things that are wearing on his soul and not making him look so idealistic and squeaky clean. Using the Force to shoot these things is just as easy as tapping Y, and I'm not sure if this is really working. Like, it seems to kind of stopped really doing any damage to him. Like, it seems like when he grabs something, he would be vulnerable, but he's not. So maybe I need to get further back and wait for more items to come up. No, it is damaging him. It's just taking an incredibly long amount of time. Or maybe I do have to wait for several items to spawn. Like he's got 3 and a little sliver of health. And these holes. Let me ask this question. Can I jump down this hole? No. See, my attempt there did not work. And when I try to charge and do any of that, it seems like that does work. So maybe you need to do a charge blast and then hit him. I would argue Yoda needed to be played differently here in this game. He needed to be a more important character and not just a tutorialization method. So everybody and all the oxygen should be immediately sucked out and kill them all. But at the very least, they threw their lightsabers and destroyed the trigger and destroyed the panel that had the, I guess, emergency panel to bring down the blast shield.
Resourceful, I'll give him that.
We appear to be trapped.
He's the one that trapped them there.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Both their lightsabers are out there, out in space. And that was 8 minutes, and it was only 8 minutes long because it was just really, really very, very poorly designed boss fight. Also, you got no points, so you got bronze, and there's no artifacts, which means any idea of like an achievement to get platinum on all the levels is impossible. We've just been shown that's 100% the case. There's 0 points in that boss fight.
The Republic in deepening peril. When Obi-Wan Kenobi misses their planned rendezvous, Senator Padme Amidala decides to investigate Separatist activity near her homeworld of Naboo without the Jedi. Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano continue their search for clone Captain Rex on Ryloth, while Jedi Knights Luminara Unduli and Aayla Secura investigate Jabba the Hutt's reports of Separatist activity on the remote glacier world of Alzok 3.
So, are we at the end of the game, or did they just feel the need to use what must have been footage from the cartoon?
This alliance troubles me.
Can
we really trust Jabba?
Trust in his greed. We can.
If the Separatists are moving through Jabba's territory...
Wow, Yoda working with Jabba the Hutt. That seems crazy.
And use the Jedi Council to do his dirty work. Did Jabba say what to look for?
Find it easily. I think you will.
They've got a blue-haired or blue appendaged alien. Wow.
What a desolate place.
Luminaria and Aayla. They really do go for the harem with the Clone Wars. There's a bevy of female beauties, aliens, that are around Anakin. Which, I suppose if you tried to write a love quadrangle or love triangle between different characters, and then you've found that with Anakin being the only male interest, that could lead to frustration on everyone's part and cause him to turn bad. However, I think Padme Amidala, Queen Amidala, is Anakin's only love at all. I suppose there might be some lesbian overtones between these two, but it also might be that she's the master and the blue-haired lady is the Padawan. Not knowing the story, I have no clue. All I know is these are just more characters that don't show up in episode 3, as far as I understand it.
Hold it, Commander. The shock from that blast could bring down half the cliff. Let's see if we can't clear the path with a little more finesse.
Boy, that's an interesting voice actress for that character. I would not have gone with the slightly French accent.
Keep an eye on the ice. It can be as treacherous as a hut.
Now, in the Lego Star Wars game, there is a point where you do work for not Jabba the Hutt, but I believe his father, to rescue Jabba the Hutt.
Clear the way forward. The droid can.
Like, do we really need this tutorial stuff again? Like, we've done this. This is the same game, unless this was intended to be sold as DLC, which that would have really been crummy. Like, I was honestly half feeling that I was just gonna wrap up this series and they were just gonna end it on this cliffhanger, on a commercial for the next season, whatever next season of the Clone Wars cartoon that would have come out when this game was originally released. I really thought it was just going to end that way. It kind of has to end that way.
This shouldn't take long.
Like there's only two things you can do at the end of this game. You have Anakin fight Obi-Wan and turn into Darth Vader, a scene we've seen in episode 3, or you move. Potentially, I guess you could have the scene that happens right at the beginning, have a scene that happens right before the scene that begins episode 3, so you link it directly to the movie, or you just end it on a teaser promotion for any potential new Clone Wars cartoon. Since these are characters I don't recognize, you could have everybody die that isn't an important character. Destroy droids. Like, first fight in this game is
You know the answer to that question now.
like, first challenge you have in this level is simply towards is just for points, kill these droids. And in the Lego Star Wars game, which is, I think, the right comparison, because if I compare this to The Force Unleashed, it just fails on every level. You never saw anything really like this. In fact, in having played nearly all the Legos games from every genre, I've never seen them have co-op challenges where the players were competing against each other. And I kind of enjoy that idea, just philosophically, because if you're playing with a friend or sibling, you're not encouraging them to be mad at each other or play in ways that would contradict the process.
A useful ally can your enemies be?
Contradict a good team making. Man, I tried several times to jump on that and it did not work.
End result. Jedi, 0 warrants.
So it's worth pointing out that I'm not doing anything to jump off of that droid when I when I blow it up and crash into a wall. It's just automatically saving the character. This is also the first instance where a checkpoint has been used as a trigger to move you forward in the next thing. So you have the blue alien on the right. She looks like basically...
I do not know.
Well, the blue aliens, we've seen them as like strippers, dancers in some of the bars in the Star Wars movies. And she's pretty revealing clothing. And then you have the character in green on the left. And she's basically in a nun's habit. Like head to toe covered in clothes. If you were to use clothing in character design when making a animated cartoon, which you should, certainly, like there's reasons for everything if you think things through. These two characters should be complete and total opposites to the point of that they would be always at odds with each other.
Get to the higher ground and find a way in.
Like that patch of floating ice, General.
Excellent, Commander Gree.
Move out, men.
It's like too much use of the word commander there. And again, we have the magical floating rocks that, like, this just feels like something you would expect from something along the lines of a World of Warcraft type game. Like, there should not be so many floating things. Well, that didn't work. And then this way and this way. Yeah, it's quite the challenge. Is this really worth doing all of that? Not really. Oops. Controls are still pretty stiff and clunky. And the one button to jump, to lock into a jump and actually have it be guaranteed to actually land where you expect it to land, is very awkward. And it's very old-fashioned too. Like, that's a great example. I just tried to jump directly forward and the game decided, no, I'm gonna jump to the left. So here, I'm gonna try and jump directly back. It worked that time. No consistency. The story now is a complete mess, though. I mean, what else can you call it? We've got Obi-Wan and Plo, I believe, in a similar time frame, or at the exact same time, still trapped in that room. We have Anakin and Ahsoka still how did they know that was gonna work? Like, why would that work at all? Yeah, even if you knew it was gonna leave you with floating icicles, how did you know it was gonna make any kind of pattern that would have been useful to use? You also have the clone droids. Either these are the same clone droids or a whole different group of clone droids, which I would argue this is a whole different group of clone droids with these two Jedi. So the first group, assuming I've only been following one group, it's kind of hard to tell. Very possibly they're still in the escape ships.
You know the answer to that question,
Now that was a line of dialogue we already heard her say just a minute or two ago. Repeating lines of dialogues. So close is rather ridiculous. And this is just another one of those challenges that's not really that challenging. So I'm going to get platinum, and Luminaire is going to get a downright pathetic amount of points. Doesn't seem like I can actually reach that area, so let's see, we can jump over here, and jump over here, and jump over here, and jump over here, and come over here. Like, these all feel like nice, well thought out levels. They're just missing elements and a consistent character. In all honesty, if I was playing as the character from the Force Unleashed one in every level that it was in this game, and I had the story of the Force Unleashed one while doing these levels, that game would have been a little bit longer, which might have been appreciated. Not that it was super short. But in the comparison to the Force Unleashed, there was never 5 seconds where you weren't fighting somebody. And I guess I would really prefer if there were droids running around, even if they're not droids that, let's say they don't even actually hurt you style droids, but just the gonk droids is one of the famous style droids that's just kind of this walking trash can, just robots basically that don't have any offensive capabilities. If they were running around and I could stupidly, like a little kid, swing my lightsaber and hit anything as I'm climbing this platform, the world would feel at least more populated. Like, instead of feeling like a completely empty level until the game needs you to have control of a droid.
Exceptional work, Ayla.
And we're getting too many of these.
Shall we go head to head? A little competition is healthy.
They want me to throw these guys off the edge. Seems like you still need to charge up your Force Blast. I've got 1,000 points and she's got none. Which that'll be interesting. 2,000 points in 30 seconds for platinum, 0 points for bronze. So if you ever thought that there might be a amount of points below bronze, you now know that's not the case. And way too easy to fall off and kill yourself. And the status here, what is this? Like, total play time, it seems 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's not right. Well, maybe it is. But I'm already kind of done. 16 of 50 artifacts already collected and 18 of 47 challenges. So does that equate to about a third of the game being done already? We've done none of the feats that are listed here. I don't know if this goes in circles. It almost certainly does. Everything else does. How many times have I died already? 103 times. Just playing on easy. That is really, really ridiculous. Combat upgrades. We might as well just try to go down the level here. So once I have another 4,500, I could get jump attack. And I believe once I have jump attack, that's the only thing left as far as a combat upgrade. And then it certainly would make sense to try and get droid jack upgrades, since we're doing that a lot. Way too much. And then I don't really see any reason to buy the droid dances or the hats and masks. So yeah, no reason really to purchase those. And if we're 1/3 of the way through the game, maybe we will have enough points by the end to afford everything. But also, that is very disconcerting. 1/3 of the way through the game, are we going to get introduced to 2 more sets of people we'll play as, or are we just going to play 1/3 of the game as Lumeria and this other Jedi lady that I've forgotten the name of? Because I'm not sure I want to have a game that has a total of 18 different playable characters, which is what the implication might be. If there were 6 playable characters in the first third, and there's another 6 in the second third, and another 6 in the last third, that's total insanity. Anyways, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.